It was Sunday and you were woken up by the sound of the alarm. Greedily you got up, turned off the alarm and stretched your arms. You glanced at your husband Jungkook, who was sleeping peacefully beside you. It had only been a month since your wedding and you were still in the blissful haze of newlywed life. Smiling, you leaned over and kissed your mafia husband who was sleeping like a baby. Quietly, you got out of bed and headed to the bathroom to freshen up. After a quick shower, you came back and sat at the dressing table, drying your hair with a hairdryer. A few minutes later, you felt two muscular arms wrap around your waist. Jungkook had woken up and was now resting his chin on your shoulder. "Good morning," you said, looking at him through the mirror. "Good morning, love," he replied, kissing your neck softly. "Did you sleep well?" you asked. He hummed in response, then he turned you around to face him and peeked your lips. After he backed off, you asked, "Did you remember that your mom and dad invited us for dinner tonight?" Your mother-in-law had called yesterday and invited you both for dinner, mentioning that you hadn't visited their place since your wedding a month ago. She wanted to see you both and share a meal together. You both gladly accepted the invitation and assured her that you would be there for dinner. "Yes, I remember, but that's at night, right? We can have fun until then," he said with a mischievous glint in his eyes. "What do you mean?" "I'm just saying we can have breakfast together and watch a romantic movie," he replied. "Oh, okay," you said, feeling relieved. He smirked. "What did you think I meant?" You laughed, hitting his chest playfully. "Nothing. I also thought about this only." Jungkook chuckled, pulling you closer for another kiss. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too," you said, smiling. "Okay, now go and get fresh. Get fresh up while I make breakfast for us." Jungkook nodded and went to fresh up. After getting dressed, you went downstairs. You started preparing breakfast. Once it was ready, you arranged everything on the table. As you were setting the last plate, Jungkook came down and sat at the table, signaling you to sit beside him. You sat next to him and served breakfast for both of you. The meal was filled with light conversation and laughter. After finishing breakfast, you started washing the dishes while Jungkook went to the living room and sat on the couch, selecting a romantic movie to watch. When you finished with the dishes, you joined him, sitting beside him and hugging his arm. "Did you choose the movie?" you asked. He nodded. "Yes, I'm just waiting for you to come." He started playing the movie and you snuggled closer, enjoying the peaceful moment together. As the movie continued, an hour in, a romantic kissing scene began to play. Jungkook's eyes fell on you, noticing how immersed you were in the movie. As he watched the romantic kiss on the screen, he couldn't help but stare at your lips. You sensed his gaze and looked at him. "What? Why are you glaring at me like that?" "It's nothing," he replied, smirking. "I just want to recreate that romantic scene with my wife." "You pervert," you laughed playfully, hitting his chest. He grabbed your hands, preventing you from hitting him more, and started moving closer to you. You tried to move back, but he didn't let go of your hands. As he inched closer, you found yourself lying back on the couch with him hovering over you. His eyes were filled with love as he leaned in, your heart beating faster with anticipation. Just as he was about to kiss you, your phone rang. You pushed him away and he sighed, disappointed that the moment was interrupted. You grabbed your phone and saw it was your mother-in-law calling. Hello, Mom, you answered, glancing at Jungkook, who was shaking his head with a rueful smile. Hello, dear, your mother-in-law greeted. Do you remember that you have to come here for dinner? I called to remind you both once again. Yes, Mom, we remember. We will definitely come for dinner, don't worry, you assured her. Okay, dear, come early this evening. Don't be late. Sure, Mom, we will be there early. Okay, dear, bye, she said. Bye, Mom, you replied, and she hung up the call. Jungkook looked at you with a curious expression. What happened? Why did Mom call? Mom called to remind us to visit for dinner early. Jungkook pouted his lips. Because of Mom's call, our good moment got ruined. You chuckled. Leave it. Now go and get ready. It's already afternoon. We have to go early. He nodded and you both went to get ready for the evening. As Jungkook got ready, he came downstairs and waited for you in the living room. 5 minutes later, you came down and he was stunned by your beauty. You looked so beautiful and hot at the same time, with your loose hair and the dress you were wearing. His jaw dropped as he stared at you. You walked over to him and called his name, but he didn't respond, so immersed in your beauty. Jungkook, you called out louder. He snapped out of his gaze. Wyan, you look beautiful and freaking hot today. Thanks, Jungkook, but we have to go. It's getting late. He pouted. We can go after some time. I got needy after looking at you. Please, Wyan. No, Jungkook, please understand. Mom called twice to remind us to come early. If we are late, Mom and Dad will be upset. Please understand. You pleaded. He signed. Okay, but after coming back, I won't leave you tonight. You chuckled and both of you headed to the car. The ride was quiet until Jungkook placed his hand on your thigh. You gasped and looked at him, seeing a smirk on his face as he drove. You yanked his hand away and he looked at you with a sad face, pouting. Wyan, why did you yank my hand? He asked cutely. Just focus on driving, Jungkook. You said, not wanting to encourage him. He placed his hand on your thigh again and you signed, removing it once more. I'm telling you, Wyan, you will regret doing this after we get home, he warned. You rolled your eyes. Whatever. Then he signed. When you arrived at Jungkook's parents' house, you both got out of the car and walked to the main door. You knocked and Mistress John opened it with a warm smile. Oh my Wyan dear, she said, hugging you. You hugged her back. Hi Mom, how are you and Dad? Mr. John came over saying, we are both fit and fine, dear. They were so focused on talking to you that they seemed to forget about Jungkook entirely. He pouted and said, Hey Mom, Dad, I am also here, please consider me. You all chuckled at his words. Mistress John hugged him and said, Jungkook, how can we forget our son? Saying that, she led you both to the living room, where everyone sat down, chatting and laughing together. The evening was filled with warmth and happiness as you all enjoyed each other's company. As dinner time approached, Mistress John went to bring all the dishes she had prepared to the dining table, and you went to help her. Meanwhile, Mr. John and Jungkook were still in the living room. Jungkook, can you call your mom here? I can't find my glasses. Okay, Dad, Jungkook replied, secretly smirking because he saw an opportunity to be alone with you. He headed to the kitchen and said, Mom, Dad is calling you. Why? Mistress John asked. He can't find his glasses and needs your help. Jungkook explained. She signed and said, Alright. As soon as she left the kitchen, Jungkook hugged you tightly from behind. Jungkook, what are you doing? Leave me. You said trying to break free, but he was too strong. Baby, please, I can't control myself. I need you, he whispered in your ear. Jungkook, I said leave me. If you don't, I will call mom. You warned. You were about to call out for Mr. John when he quickly covered your mouth with his hand. You are so cruel. Thanks, he replied sarcastically once he let go. You both continued bringing the dishes to the dining table. When everything was set, everyone sat down and Mr. John served the food. The meal was peaceful until you felt Jungkook holding your hand under the table. You looked at him and he gave you a smirk. As you all were eating, you suddenly choked on your food when Mr. John asked, when will you both give us grandchildren? Jungkook quickly handed you a glass of water and rubbed your back to help. Don't worry, Dad. We will give you grandchildren soon. Right, Ryan? He asked with a mischievous grin. You nodded, looking down, still embarrassed from choking. A few minutes later, you felt a hand on your thigh. You glanced down and saw it was Jungkook's hand. You slowly removed it, but he placed it back, squeezing your thigh. You struggled to hold back a moan, trying to continue eating while he kept rubbing your thigh. Finally, you yanked his hand away and stood up. What happened, dear? Nothing, Mom. I finished my dinner. I am just going to wash my hands, you replied, heading to the kitchen. Jungkook quickly finished his dinner and followed you, standing beside you at the sink. Speaking softly so your in-laws couldn't hear, you said, Jungkook, what is happening to you? I know you are needy, but can't you wait until we get home? No, he replied firmly. We have to leave as soon as possible. Signing, you finished washing your hands and went back to the table. After dinner, you all talked for some time and it soon became late. Jungkook finally said, Mom, Dad, we should leave now. It's already late. Okay, son, both of you stay blessed and be happy together, they said, hugging you both one last time and waving goodbye. As soon as you were inside the car and the doors were closed, he leaned over and kissed you deeply, his need and desire clear. Let's get home, he whispered, starting the car and driving off. As soon as you both reached home, Jungkook carried you to the bedroom in a bridal style and gently laid you on the bed. Without a moment's hesitation, he started kissing you roughly on the lips, then moved to your neck. You gasped and managed to say, Jungkook, what's happening? I have been controlling myself since this afternoon. I can't, Ryan. You look so hot today, he replied breathlessly before resuming his fervent kisses. In the midst of his kisses, he murmured, Dad said they want a grandchild. Let's fulfill their desire today. Your eyes widened in surprise, but you started to protest, but he silenced you with another kiss. After a few moments, you surrendered to his passion and responded to his kiss, letting the moment take over.